As we approach the peak of summer, consumers need to brace themselves for a significant rise in food prices. Recent predictions suggest that 15 specific grocery products will experience the most substantial price hikes, with prices expected to double over the next month. This surge in prices could pose a challenge for households trying to manage their budgets. To mitigate the impact, it becomes crucial to stock up on these essential items now. By purchasing these products ahead of time, you can avoid the financial strain and ensure your pantry is well equipped to handle these upcoming changes. Preparing in advance will not only help you save money, but also ensure that you have a steady supply of necessities as we navigate through this period of inflation. Kendin, olive oil. The country's olive oil production dropped by nearly 50% due to severe drought and extreme temperatures. Similarly, Italy's olive oil production decreased by 30% because of adverse weather and olive fruit fly infestations. These declines in Spain and Italy are tightening global olive oil supply, which will have a significant impact on consumers worldwide. As an American consumer, I will likely see a significant increase in olive oil prices. The U.S. imports most of its olive oil from Spain and Italy, and this shortage will result in higher prices at the grocery store. Olive oil is essential in many diets, especially the Mediterranean diet, and a 28% price increase will make it harder for families to afford olive oil, possibly leading them to choose less healthy alternatives. This surge in price makes olive oil one of the 15 grocery products that will double in price next month. 14's coffee. The 2021 Brazilian frost significantly reduced coffee crop production, marking the biggest decline in nearly 20 years. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change warns of a potential 50% reduction in suitable coffee growing areas by 2050 if current climate trends persist. With global coffee demand rising at approximately 2% annually, and the U.S. alone consuming around 146 billion cups each year, the supply chain is under immense pressure. Specialty brews and premium coffee products are increasing in popularity, contributing further to supply constraints and higher prices. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated this situation by causing major disruptions in global supply chains, leading to delays and a sharp rise in shipping costs. Logistical challenges, including container shortages and port backlogs, have made transporting coffee beans more expensive and time-consuming. Consequently, the average price of coffee could rise from $4.45 per pound in 2023 to over $600, impacting morning routines worldwide. 13. Dairy products. Dairy prices are surging due to a confluence of factors, prominently adverse weather conditions and heightened global demand. The USDA reports that feed costs for dairy cows soared by nearly 15% in 2021, directly impacting milk production costs. Furthermore, labor shortages have compounded the issue, with the pandemic exacerbating the difficulty in hiring and retaining workers for essential tasks like milking and animal care. Consequently, increased wages and operational costs for dairy farms are inflating prices. Consumers will undoubtedly notice this hike, as the average price of a gallon of milk in the U.S. could spike from around 3.50 to nearly 5, representing a 42% increase. Other dairy staples like cheese, butter, and yogurt are also set to become more expensive. With the average American consuming approximately 653 pounds of dairy annually, this price rise will particularly strain households with young children or those relying on dairy for their nutritional needs. Point number 12, sugar. I've noticed that adverse weather conditions and a shift by farmers to more profitable crops are impacting sugar harvests. It's not just the poor harvests causing concerns. Global demand for sugar is climbing due to population growth and increased consumption in developing countries. The International Sugar Organization projects a 1.4% annual increase in global sugar consumption. Countries like China and India are driving this rising demand, putting additional strain on already limited supplies. For American households, this means I'm seeing a noticeable rise in the cost of sugar and sugar-based products. Everyday items such as my morning coffee sweetener, favorite candy bar, and soda are becoming more expensive due to the price hike. This price increase is expected to affect the entire supply chain, making baking a cake or enjoying a cookie costlier. The food and beverage industry at large, including manufacturers, will likely face higher production costs. Companies may have to decide whether to absorb these costs or pass them on to me, the customer. Reports indicate that the U.S. candy production industry, valued at around $10 billion, could see significant impacts. Higher sugar prices may lead to smaller profit margins for manufacturers or higher retail prices for consumers like me. 11. Fresh vegetables. The cost of fresh vegetables has significantly increased due to a confluence of environmental and economic factors. The severe drought in California has hampered agricultural production, driving up expenses. Concurrently, labor shortages exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic have led to higher wages, further inflating the cost of vegetable production. Despite a record number of applications in the H-2A visa program, labor demand remains unmet. Additionally, skyrocketing transportation costs, influenced by rising fuel prices, and a shortage of truck drivers have strained the supply chain. The American Trucking Associations reported an 80,000 driver shortfall in 2023, compounding delivery costs. Consequently, these increased costs have cascaded down to consumers, resulting in a 52% price hike for fresh vegetables. This price surge puts significant strain on American families, particularly those experiencing food insecurity. According to the USDA, 34 million Americans, including 9 million children, live in food-insecure households, making nutritious foods less accessible. 10. Bread and grains. The ongoing drought severely impacts our food supply, significantly reducing crop yields of essential grains like wheat, corn, and barley. This decreased supply inevitably leads to higher grocery prices. Breakfast cereals, for instance, which used to be 4 per, are now hovering around 6 per. Additionally, the cost of pasta and bread is expected to rise significantly. As ingredient prices soar, restaurants and bakeries will need to adjust their pricing, resulting in more expensive meals for consumers. Currently, Americans allocate approximately 12.5% of their income to food purchases. With grain prices on the rise, this percentage will likely increase, particularly straining lower-income families. This surge in grain prices exacerbates existing inflationary pressures felt across various economic sectors, making it challenging for households to balance their budgets amidst increasing food costs. 9. Processed foods. We need to be prepared to pay 65% more for processed foods. This includes snacks, canned goods, and ready-to-eat meals. The rising costs of raw materials, labor, and transportation are the primary drivers behind these price increases. My favorite snacks like chips, cookies, and granola bars will soon become more expensive, making it harder to indulge in these convenient treats. Essential pantry items such as canned vegetables, soups, and beans are also expected to see a significant price hike, affecting everyday meal preparation. Additionally, the cost of convenient ready-to-eat meals like frozen dinners, microwavable lunches, and prepackaged salads will increase, making quick meal solutions pricier. As a result, we'll need to reconsider our grocery budget and make more strategic choices to manage expenses effectively. Planning and prioritizing purchases will be paramount in navigating these rising costs while maintaining a balanced diet. 8. Pork. I've noticed that pork prices are on the rise due to drought conditions and high feed prices. This increase will affect everything from grocery stores to restaurants. Bacon, ham, and pork chops will cost more, especially noticeable during summer barbecues. Summertime staples like pork ribs and pulled pork sandwiches will become more expensive, impacting family menu planning. There may be a ripple effect with consumers turning to chicken or beef, potentially driving up those prices too. This could lead to a broader inflation in protein sources, affecting households in the food service industry. The rising cost of pork has economic implications, potentially reducing consumption and impacting jobs in farming, processing, and distribution. The overall economic health of pork-dependent regions could be at risk. As pork prices soar, the financial strain on both consumers and sectors reliant on pork becomes increasingly palpable, necessitating swift adjustments and strategic responses. 7. Beef. The beef market is currently facing significant challenges that are likely to cause a sharp increase in prices over the next month. The ongoing drought conditions have led to a reduction in herd sizes as farmers struggle to manage resources. This reduction has resulted in a decreased supply of cattle being sent to wholesalers and retailers. Consequently, the limited beef supply has driven up prices. Due to the classic economic principle of supply and demand imbalance, the USDA has reported that the national cattle inventory is decreasing by approximately 2% each year, a trend that shows no signs of slowing. Moreover, the drought has also impacted crop yields, leading to a surge of about 15% in feed costs, which further inflates beef production costs. American households will soon feel the pinch, with the price of ground beef potentially rising from $4.20 to nearly $5.50 per pound, and premium cuts like steaks expected to see even more dramatic price hikes. 6. Avocado. Drought has severely impacted avocado production in both Mexico and California, the primary suppliers to the U.S. market. Mexico, the largest source of avocados for the United States, and California are experiencing significantly reduced harvests due to water scarcity. In California, stringent water regulations further complicate irrigation efforts, exacerbating the issue and leading to lower yields. As a result, the supply of avocados has dwindled, pushing prices upward. Avocados have become a dietary staple, particularly popular among millennials who value their health benefits and versatility in various dishes. U.S. consumption of avocados almost doubled in a decade, rising from 1.3 billion pounds in 2010 to 2.4 billion pounds in 2020. The expected increase in avocado prices will inevitably strain consumers' budgets, with noticeable price hikes in grocery stores. This surge in costs is likely to impact the affordability and accessibility of avocados for the average consumer. 5. Eggs. Egg prices are expected to rise by a staggering 45% next month, primarily due to the recent outbreak of avian flu and a significant reduction in the chicken population. This increase will have a considerable impact on consumers, as eggs are a staple in American households, frequently used in recipes, baking, and as a breakfast item. The avian flu has led to the culling of millions of chickens, drastically reducing the number of laying hens and causing a 12% decline in the U.S. egg-laying flock. This reduced production and availability have strained supply chains, creating a significant price hike. With the average American consuming approximately 279 eggs per year, families will face an additional $2 cost per dozen, amounting to an extra $100 annually. The sharp rise in egg prices underscores the profound effects of agriculture-related diseases on food prices and household budgets. 4. Chicken. The pandemic has caused major challenges in meat processing plants, leading to worker shortages and limited production. Even as we return to normalcy, many plants aren't operating at full capacity. The National Chicken Council indicates that these shortages are driving chicken prices higher. Chicken is a staple for many American households due to its versatility and affordability. With Americans consuming about 97 pounds of chicken annually, this price rise will significantly affect families. Grocery shopping will become more expensive as consumers pay more for various chicken cuts. Restaurants might also raise their prices or alter their menus to manage increased costs. Higher chicken prices contribute to broader inflationary pressures, exacerbating the rising consumer price index for food, which saw an 11.9% increase in meat, poultry, fish, and eggs over the past year. A 50% increase will further affect overall inflation. 3. Seafood. Rising ocean temperatures and changing sea conditions are having profound effects on fish habitats and breeding patterns. Species like cod and salmon are migrating to cooler waters, making them harder to catch. Additionally, ocean acidification, driven by increased carbon dioxide levels, is impacting shellfish populations such as oysters and clams. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration notes that these ecological shifts are disrupting the seafood supply chain, leading to higher prices. High transportation costs are another significant factor, pushing up seafood prices. The cost of transporting seafood has surged due to rising fuel prices and a shortage of truck drivers. The American Trucking Associations reported a deficit of 80,000 drivers in 2023, causing delays and increased shipping costs. These increased costs are passed on to consumers, leading to higher prices at grocery stores and restaurants. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this could mean an annual increase from $1,200 to nearly $1,360 in the average American household's seafood expenditure. Deuce, fruit prices. With predictions indicating that fruit prices may double within the next month, consumers are already feeling the financial strain. The escalating costs can be attributed to extreme weather conditions that have drastically impacted fruit crops, particularly in California, and other major fruit-producing regions globally. These adverse weather phenomena have led to reduced yields, significantly affecting supply chains. Additionally, the agricultural sector is grappling with a severe labor shortage, exacerbated by the pandemic. Many farm workers have left the labor force or are unable to work due to health concerns and travel restrictions, resulting in unharvested produce and skyrocketing prices. Consequently, common fruits like apples, bananas, and berries are becoming increasingly expensive. For instance, the price of apples is projected to surge from $1.50 to $2.40 per pound, and bananas from $0.60 to nearly $1 per pound. This is particularly concerning for the average American household that dedicates around 10% of its grocery budget to fruits and vegetables. 1. Cooking oils. Cooking oils are poised to see one of the most significant price hikes in the coming months. The confluence of production challenges among leading global producers has created a perfect storm of supply issues. Key factors contributing to this situation include labor shortages precipitated by the COVID-19 pandemic, adverse weather conditions, and stringent government policies. Palm oil, which accounts for about 35% of the global vegetable oil market, has faced notable supply disruptions. Similarly, soybean oil production is grappling with setbacks in the United States, Brazil, and Argentina due to severe drought and the growing competition from the biofuel industry. These hurdles have driven up the prices of soybean oil, subsequently exerting pressure on other cooking oils. The cascading effects are evident in processed foods, such as salad dressings and baked goods. Over the past year, there has already been a 5% to 6% increase in food prices, with forecasts predicting up to an 8% rise in the near future.